Paul Ndiho. This week on Different Perspectives, Kenya is on edge. What began as a wave of peaceful demonstrations has spiraled into a national crisis. More than 16 people are dead, hundreds injured, and the government is facing accusations of using lethal force and silencing the media. In this episode, I speak with Hussein Khalid, a leading human rights advocate and CEO of Boko Africa, about the dangerous path that Kenya is treading. We are witnessing the unraveling of one of East Africa's most celebrated democracies. Welcome to Different Perspectives.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on this show. How are you?
I'm all right. What about you?
I'm very well. Under the circumstances, we are surviving, but I'm sure you are dealing with even a much bigger thing happening in Nairobi.
Indeed, indeed.
Let's start off by you telling us, maybe bringing us up to speed, what has been happening on the streets of Nairobi.
This week we were meant to commemorate our fallen comrades, those who died last year during the Gen Z-led protest that rocked the nation for several months across the country. Last year we had 64 persons who were shot and killed, some of them globally, by police officers. And since that time, this year, exactly 1 year down the line, no one has been held accountable, no police officer has been arrested for the killings, and the families continue their quest for justice. So 1 year down the line, to remember these families who lost their lives, because to us, they are very patriotic citizens of Kenya who died and paid the price in search for a better living for all of us. Wednesday is the day to commemorate. Unfortunately, no sooner started the march in the streets when we saw this descending on us, tear gas canisters with water cannons, with batons, all sorts of crowd control, rubber bullets, light bullets, and everything. At the end of the day, and we continue counting now, around 17 deaths across the country. Here in Nairobi alone, we're at 5. Today, we have already found another body, and there are reports of 2 other bodies around Nairobi we are following up to. So it's a very huge disappointment for us. Day when we were supposed to remember our colleagues, unfortunately, it turned out the day when we even more colleagues.
Why is the government or the police beating up protesters, people who are causing no harm to anybody?
The executive feels threatened by the protests. They think that the youth are uprising and will demand a fair share in the distribution of development proceeds. So the executive is using the police to try and silence dissent, to try and silence anyone who is criticizing the government, to try and silence individuals who are demanding for justice. And this is the situation that we are faced with right now in the country. And we are saying, as Kenyans, we shall not allow that to happen.
As a human rights activist, is your life in danger? Are you afraid to be out there challenging what's happening on the streets of Nairobi?
I'm very afraid. I am very afraid because we know that a number of our colleagues, not only have they been forcefully disappeared, taken away from their homes, from their workplaces, but a good number of those either have not been found to death or others have been found dead in different places of the country, including dams and other places. So, yes, it is a frightful time to be an activist, to be a lawyer, to be a human rights defender in the country presently. But we are saying that the country needs us and we have to be strong and we have to push through because if we remain quiet, then it means that we have relented in the struggle for a better Kenya. And we don't want to do that, and we will continue fighting for a better Kenya.
Kenya used to be a country where a lot of people in the region, especially if you look around the different countries, looked up to Kenya when it came to peaceful demonstrations, when it came to democracy, when it came to protecting people's rights. What has changed in the last 2 or 3 years?
For many years, Kenya has been a beacon of human rights, a beacon of justice and democracy, not only in the East African region, but actually Africa as a whole. You know, the country boasts of having one of the best constitutions in Africa, with a very strong Bill of Rights. You know, in our constitution, the biggest chapter is the chapter on Bill of Rights. So yes, we have been in the lead, also to speak, compared to countries within our region. But in the last 2 years or so, we have seen a lot of these freedoms being trampled on. We've seen many, I mean, the cost of living going up, skyrocketing. And this has forced many, particularly the younger generations, to say enough is enough and we need to come out. And when they started coming out, the disappointing fact is that then the guns were turned towards them. Instead of giving them an ear to listen to their cries, to listen to what they feel needs to be done in this country, we saw people being killed left, right, and center. As I said, last year, over 60 young Kenyans lost their lives, you know, and this is a clear show that the government of the day does not respond to the people's demands. And this is why the younger generation is out there, you know, saying we must fight corruption, we must fight extravagance and opulence in state offices. We must take back the proceeds to the people themselves. So for me, it's not a step backwards, but actually a step forward, in that people are demanding for an even better Kenya, so that we can all fairly, you know, benefit the rewards of being Kenyan.
When President William Ruto was running for office, he used one of those slogans where he was really advocating for young people. I remember him coining the phrase hustler. He was hustler number one. What changed? All these young people, all they want is a fair share of what the country can do for them. They're looking for jobs. Most of these people are unemployed. What changed from him campaigning on a platform to empower young people to now beating these young people on the streets, and not just beating but killing them?
I totally agree with you. And if you look at the campaigns of 2022, UDA, the president's party, rode to the presidency through the hustler narrative, saying that his is the government of the downtrodden, the poor. You know that his government will raise the levels of those who are not in any way benefiting from the fruits of independence. And he kept saying that you know, he will remember those who are living in abject poverty. I remember he even gave us the bottom up economic strategy. And he said he will lift those who are at the bottom and make sure they also rise up. Unfortunately, to many Kenyans, those promises have not been realized. And each and every day, we've seen the prices of basic commodities shooting very high. Last year, they had the excuse of the Ukraine Russia war, you know, and they kept saying this is the market across the world and there isn't much that we can do. Moving on, you know, as we proceed, they keep telling us that they are going to improve the economy. The price of maize flour will go down. Unfortunately, people are not seeing that happening. And this is what is taking many people to the streets. It's not about generally everything altogether, but also how are Kenyans benefiting individually in terms of feeling that you know, pinch in their pockets. So these are the issues that have continued to bedevil the current government, and they don't have answers. Every day they come up with different promises which are never kept. And because of this, people feel frustrated, people feel disappointed and angry, and that's why they continue to come out to the streets protesting for a better life.
You have more than 16 people dead on the streets of Nairobi. You have over 400 injured. What kind of justification are these the police, the government giving?
So the cabinet secretary for interior, in whose ministry the police fall under, yesterday issued his official statement, um, claiming that what was witnessed were acts of terrorism, and that the protesters were infiltrated by goons and looters, and that as a government they will not allow ever again such kind of anarchy in the name of protests. And we responded and we've told him that right to protest, right to demonstrate is a constitutional guarantee. We don't ask for favors from the government to protest. That is our right, and we shall continue exercising that right to the fullest. We will not ask for permission because it is already confirmed in the Constitution of Kenya. It is the police's job to stop goons. It's the police's job to stop looters and individuals who are out there to cause harm and to destroy property. That is not our work. So there is no way we will allow a constitutional guarantee to be criminalized by the cabinet secretary. If anything, to us, that is tantamount to overthrowing the constitution unconstitutionally. So if they want to ban protests, if they want to ban demonstrations, they have to go back to the people and call for a referendum for that particular clause, Article 37 of the Constitution, to be removed. Otherwise, that is a constitutional guarantee, and we assure the government of Kenya that whenever we feel there is need to protest, we will be out there to protest and to exercise that right to the full.
On Wednesday, there was a media blackout. Uh, is there any justification this far that maybe led to that media blackout? Why the media was stopped from covering these protests?
According to the cabinet secretary, when he issued his statement yesterday, he said that the media were inciting the public to go out and to protest. I remember at one point he said that media houses were interviewing protesters on live TV and asking the protesters to give their advice to those who are still at home. So according to him, that meant that they were giving opportunities for people to call others out to come and join the protest. We are very clear that these protests are largely mobilized and organized on social media platforms. The guise of shutting down television stations, or the justification that they were being used to mobilize people, is absolutely absurd. But in any case, if matters are happening out there, the media have every right to report the actual situation on the ground. If police are shooting tear gas canisters, if police are shooting rubber bullets, if police are shooting live bullets, the media have a responsibility to accurately report that. You cannot condemn the reporting when you are the persons committing those actions. You want the media to report shootings and killings, then don't do it as a police service, and the media won't have to report on them. So we stand with our media. We want to confirm that media freedom is non-negotiable in Kenya, and as Kenyans will not allow the government in any way to muzzle or play around with our media freedom.
Do these young people who are being beaten up have representation when they're taken to court? Are people volunteering to help some of these young people on the streets?
Up to this time, we have had tremendous support from the Law Society of Kenya, and they have always represented anyone who has been found in any way to be in conflict with the law. We know of a number of arrests that were made on Wednesday, and all those who are arrested have had legal representation. So we appreciate the Law Society of Kenya and other legal entities, including Katiba Institute, that went to court to challenge the order by the government's communications authority to shut down the three media houses. It is their case in court that managed to get an order to revoke that government order to shut down those three media houses. So we have good legal representation and legal support, and we are confident that we at the end of the day the judiciary will do justice to Kenyans.
Is there an end in sight? Let's say, given that these young people don't want to vacate the streets, and is police willing to maybe to just stop whatever they are doing?
As we speak presently, it's more of a standstill. Everyone is holding on to their positions, and already on social media, I'm seeing the Gen Zs mobilizing for another protest in the next 1 week or so. So, of course, the government has stood firm in its position that it will not allow protests. So, unfortunately, there's no end in sight.
Thank you, Hussein. Hussein Khalid is a leading human rights advocate and CEO of Boko Africa. He spoke to us from Nairobi, Kenya. We want to know what you think about young people taking to the streets in Kenya. Share your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Paul Ndiho on X, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and YouTube.